attract more potential clients at conferences? And how can networking events and conferences help promote growth for startups? And how can you get clients for your startup at conferences at all? Let's start with the first question, and that is how to attract more potential clients at conferences. Now, networking events is one of the most efficient events for B2B enterprises to make valuable connections, especially for the competitive IT sector. Yes, you might want to stick to Upwork, LinkedIn connections, and email sequences and mail outs to potential clients, but the truth is that face-to-face communications are more efficient. Statistics say that companies that meet their potential clients face-to-face and make it a practice have 40% of conversion rates versus 16% of conversion rates for those who don't. However, only showing up to the meeting won't do the thing. Events and conferences are excellent ways to get new clients and build new connections, but it's surprisingly how many people don't take advantage of it and don't spare enough time to prepare for such occasions. Then it comes as no surprise if no one contacts you afterwards. Despite how charming your team is, it's essential to go through some preparation steps in order to present your company in the best way and to master networking for your next event. The first tip would be do your homework. Some conferences and events host hundreds and thousands of people from different domains, different industries, different companies, and different backgrounds. It can be pretty difficult and tricky to bump into the leads that might be potentially interested in your services or in your product, so in your best interest it is to make this happen. Check the event website, go through companies that will be attending, through speakers, sponsors, investors, whoever you are interested in. Make a list of your potential clients and then contact them on LinkedIn before attending the conference. You can prepare a brief introduction of your company and the services your company provides, but basically it's about building a connection before the event occurs. Going through a participant list is essential because it happens too often when you scroll down LinkedIn and you happen to recognize some of the people who have been attending the conference and you haven't met them just because you haven't bothered to do your homework and to reach out to them before the conference and to actually meet them at the conference. Olga tip here: make business cards that have your photo on them. This way people will remember you when they browse through the business card they received at the conference and they have hard time remembering who you are. But this way they look at the face and they recognize the person they've been talking to. And I actually use this hack and I always had my face on my business cards. The second tip, of course, would be to contact your potential leads beforehand. And don't worry, you won't be seen as too pushy or annoying if you both will be attending this event, will be attending this conference. It's just basic and simple to introduce yourself via email or on LinkedIn and explain why it is important for you to meet. And when people are preparing for the conference, they are typically excited to meet new people, and if they will be having business meetings scheduled in ahead, this will be okay, versus if you meet someone at the conference or at the event and you ask them for, say, having a cup of coffee or having a mutual lunch or whatever, because most probably they are already having their schedule booked. And yes, conferences typically host a lot of people from different backgrounds, so scheduling your meetings in ahead can be a time-saving solution. Depending on the connection, you can also invite your potential business leads to, say, a business lunch or to a cup of coffee, and thus establish more genuine and more warm and interpersonal connections if you think that that would be appropriate. And actually many conferences do have this feature or these events called business lunch or coffee breaks or whatever they call it, where you can actually apply to join the table of certain business people gathered around one table to have a coffee. These types of events or gatherings are typically also paid. Everyone there will be business oriented mostly, so you can get a lot of outcome from these lunches. So if you have an opportunity to attend, do. Another tip would be to prepare your IT service or product with a great presentation. There is such a service or a paid opportunity to present yourself as a speaker on a stage, or as a speaker at business lunch, or as a host of those business lunches. You have to explore all the opportunities this event gives to its participants. Also, there is a possibility to buy a stand at the conference, which many companies take advantage of. I'll tell you about this experience a little bit later. And whether you have a stand or whether you are a speaker at the conference on a particular topic, everything should represent the company and the product you came here to advertise or to promote, or the service that your company provides. But even if you speak about general topics like, say, AI, machine learning, blockchain, whatever, make sure that in the end you calm it down to the service offering your company provides. And this, of course, leads us to you preparing to represent your business. And that means prepare your team's business cards, again, with their faces on, brochures and booklets. And these brochures and booklets will help your potential clients to remember what your company does and what services it provides. And it doesn't have to be like 10 pages something or book or War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. No, nothing like that. Just brief list of services that your company provides, contacts, responsible person, maybe some successful case study. Nobody likes to take this size long booklets back to the airport and back home. It should be something small, concise, something like a postcard, so that a person would like to keep it. And also think of presentation materials that you will pass on later, like power banks or mobile phone accessories, or stickers, or even teddy bears. This is a must-do thing if you book a booth, a stand, and make a presentation of your company, or if you're, say, a speaker and want to pass on some presentation materials after your speech. Another tip would be to come early and leave late. And this is because these events and conferences are typically limited in time. There are typically like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days of it, and you want to make the most of it. And actually, conferences tend to get hectic during the lunch hours and after the lunch and during the evening hours as well. But if you come in late, you might catch some people with whom you might have a meaningful conversation without all this hectic buzz talk and whatever. It sort of gives more privacy and helps your clients to memorize your pitch and yourself as a personality. And personality matters a lot in a service-based business, so make sure you are memorized. And the last tip I've already sort of mentioned would be to register as a speaker if possible. Register everywhere that goes along with your participant or attendee package. And again, it will help you to represent yourself and your business, and it will help your potential clients to memorize you much better. So if you have an authority to speak on a certain subject, please do. Events and conferences and all the industry events are the place to show off a little, and to show off even more than you typically do in a regular life, because that's why you're here for promotion of your business, of yourself, and of your products or whatever you are promoting. Now, a couple of words about my own experience back from 2017, when I was participating in MWC Americas in San Francisco, and we did all of the stuff I mentioned and above. Like, we attended all after conference parties and networking events. We worked our tails off for 4 full days, thus I didn't even get the chance to see the city, the stupid workaholic me. And even on the 4th day, when almost no one showed up in the conference hall, I was still there. After the event, we returned with a bunch of business cards. By the way, here they are, still got them, and there is one specific business card I wanted to show you. See how cute it is? You can put something in there, so pretty original business cards. You can remember this person much better. And we returned with this bunch of leads, and also with list of leads we made, potential leads who we deemed as potential clients, and we did contact them after the conference, because this is the next tip I didn't mention. You should, of course, contact all of the leads you brought with yourself from the conference and from your potential leads list, wherever you made it, and you should contact them after the conference with email sequence or on LinkedIn or wherever you choose. We did all of that, but no one seemed interested. We had few client calls, but the results were less than inspiring. So we spent a lot of money on flight tickets, on the hotels, on the accommodations, on the representation materials. For example, we were having power banks as presentation materials and some other quite expensive stuff we brought with ourselves to represent the product. So we spent a lot of effort, a lot of preparation time, and a lot of money, and the result was not what we hoped for. And you can blame it all on the product, on the poor preparation, even though I can't possibly see how we could have prepared even better. But I talked to other business people on the show, and one of them was the CEO of few product and service companies in IT industry. So he owned and co-owned several IT outsourcing and IT product businesses. And I asked him if he found the conferences and the events a good place to find clients for his outsourcing business. I was specifically interested in outsourcing because even back then I was thinking about starting my own outsourcing company, and I tried to understand the market better. So I asked him and whether he found conferences the best place to find clients, and he just silently shook his head. And that is not to say that you can't get clients at these conferences and industry events, because I know successful examples from salespeople who did brought few important clients from those conference events. But in my opinion, these conferences and events are for PR and marketing purpose mostly, and for those startup founders who seek for investments. So if you're looking for investments and if your goal is PR of your product or service or whatever, then these conferences are definitely for you. And if you're just looking to expand your network without expecting to make any immediate direct sales, because in terms of sales, these industry events, from my experience and experience of other entrepreneurs, just don't work or work no better than regular sales efforts. Given the expenses you have to go through to prepare for these conferences, it's more or less the same as you would have received when doing business online. Now, if you want to learn more about sales tactics and channels that actually work, you're gonna check out this playlist next. There is a gold mine of information there. Click the like button before you go, and I'll see you there. Bye bye.